Hello everyone, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. So my voice is completely audible, right?
Yes,
Okay. So someone from team, can you confirm if anyone else is about to join? Shall we wait for a couple of minutes or shall we start? Okay, so let's start. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Is my screen visible to everyone? Can anyone can confirm,
yes,
please? Okay.
yes.
Okay, great. So today we are just going to start this Power Automate desktop journey, and we will start from the scratch level. Okay. And we will go with all the practical sessions, the assignment, each and everything. You guys will get it. So no need to worry about this. And we will start from the scratch level. We will understand the basic fundamentals, and slowly and gradually we will move towards the advanced level. Okay. And at any point of a time, if you have any questions or any query, feel free to ask until you are not clear about that. Okay. So first of all, we are just going to see the introduction of Power Automate Desktop. That what is the Power Automate Desktop? Why do we use this one? Okay. And We have also the Power Automate Desktop. We have Power Automate Flow. What is the difference between that? So all these things, first of all, we are going to understand this one. Okay. So now let's discuss about Power Automate. So in this Power Automate, if I simply say, so it is the branch of Power Platform. Okay. It is a branch of the Power Platform. So Microsoft basically, so Microsoft has developed the Power Platform umbrella. Under that, under or under which we have the multiple products. Okay. So what are the products do we have? See, the first product, if I just talk about, so we have Power Automate. Now in this Power Automate, we have a two categorization. One is the Power Automate Desktop. Second, Power Automate Cloud Flow. Cloud Flow. Second product, we have Power Apps. Third product, we have Power BI. Then we have Power Pages. And we have Power Virtual Agents. Okay, so basically, Microsoft has developed a umbrella which is basically the combination of all these products, and all these products falls under the one category which is basically known as this Power Platform. And in the Power Platform, we have these five products: Power Automate, Power Apps, Power BI, Power Pages, and Power Virtual Agents. Okay. In the Power Automate, there are two categorization. One is the Power Automate Desktop, which is also called it as a Power Automate Desktop. And this is basically the RPA tool. So we will discuss about this. Second is Power Automate Cloud Flow. And the third is this one, Power Apps, Power BI, and so on. So we are going to discuss about, I'm just gonna give you the overview of this, that what exactly this product or this product has, what kind of a functionality, or in which case you have to use this product. But majorly our session is basically on this Power Automate Desktop. But I'm just going to give you the flavor of this product, that in which scenario you can use this product. Okay. So this Power Automate Desktop and Power Automate Cloud Flow, we will discuss it now. But before that, I'm just gonna brief you about this Power Apps. So this Power Apps basically we use where you want to develop the app. If you want to develop any kind of apps, so in that case, you can use this Power Apps. So basically, you are developing any kind of a application. For an example, suppose in your organization, the one responsibility is given to you, that you have to monitor or you have to track the attendance of each and every employee. Okay. So if you want to make this process more fruitful, so now what you can do is you can develop one app, and that application also can be accessed through the mobile, access can be accessed through the tablet, can be accessed through the any of the desktop applications as well. So that application which you have created in Power Apps can be controlled from or can be accessed from any of these, and people can mark the attendance from there itself, right? So if this kind of a application, this is a one of the example. Or second is, for an example, you want to open your business. Okay, and in that business you want to take the order from the customer. For an example, the best example is a Blinkit app. So in the Blinkit app, what you do, in the Blinkit app, whatever the product you want to order, all the products the Blinkit has reflected in their apps, you just simply check that, okay, I want to purchase this product. You just purchase that product and you make the payment online. So that kind of a application, if you want to develop, so you can also develop through this Power Apps. And the best part is into this in Power Platform, that is basically the LCNC. What is mean by the LCNC? This keyword you will listen more into this Power Platform journey. LCNC. LCNC means low code technology or no code technology. So basically, to develop this app, it is not required that you must be aware from the CSS, you must be aware from the HTML, you must be aware from the Java or any of the programming language. No, all the feature and functionality is already inbuilt into this application, and we are going to drag and drop, and as per the logics we are going to create our own application. So it means there is no programming skill sets required. It doesn't mean that you must be aware from the Java technology or the Python technology or any of these technology, then you can develop. No. So that's why it says that no code technology. Then what is mean by the low code? The low code is that they have also given that functionality if you are aware from any of the language, and if you want to utilize that to create or to develop your automation or to develop your apps, so you can also put that programming language as well if you are aware from that. So in that case, we can leverage this low code and no code technology. So this Power Apps is basically where you want to develop these kind of a application which can be accessed through the mobile, from the tablet, or from the laptop or from the desktop. At that moment, you can develop that kind of a applications from this Power Apps. The example I have given you. This Power BI, it is basically, this is for creating the dashboard or visualization. So this is basically the visualization tool. So if any of the company just want to see that what exactly running in their business, right? So for that one, people can create the dashboard or can create the visualization on this single platform, on this Power BI. And it has a lot of the feature and functionality through which any of the organization or any of the person can get the better insights of their business. Because if any of the organization want to raise their business or any organization want to grow their business, then they must be aware from the running things into the organization. So at that moment, they can take the right decision at right time. So that is only possible if they are able to see the summarized data into the single platform. For example, if your business is running into North region, East region, West region, and South region, and now if you are looking for the quarterly sales and you identified, okay, same product has given me the target sale for the three region, North, East, West, but in the South region, I am not getting that much sales for that product. What could be the factor? Right? So you can take the decision very easily whether people are not aware from that product or that product is not basically consider in the consideration in this for the south region, or you have, or the price is the high, or what any kind of a factors can be. So at the right point of time you can easily take the decision, okay, this can be the cost. So if I want to grow my business, or if I want to raise my sales into that particular region, okay, so this is the factor. So I will just take the right decision at right time. So my sales will increase and my business will grow. So if management just want to see that kind of a dashboard, so Power BI will come into the picture. The Power Pages is basically to create any internal web page. So if any of the web pages, if you want to create the internally, generally what happens, if I ask you to create any kind of a web page, you will use the HTML, you will use the CSS and so on. But in Power Pages, that is not required. So Power Pages is basically the application which is going to help you to create the internal web pages. Okay. Power Virtual Agents. This is basically to create the internal bot, okay, or internal communication bot. So basically, like for an example, if you have seen when you log in into any of the bank websites, so you see the some kind of a virtual agents over there, right? Like Alexa or something, right? Or any of the name people can give. So you see that. So if you have any kind of a questions which is related to the bank related, like if you want to open a saving account or if you want to open basically any of the accounts into this bank, so you can ask any of the questions over there. So similarly, if you want to create a such kind of a internal communication bot, for an example, the HR related, I'm just giving an example. So if any of the employee just want to know that what are the HR policies, okay, if I just need to reach out to the IT person, then whom should I contact? Which person is the primary contact, what is the email ID, right? So if all these kind of internal communication globally for the internal organization, if you want to create a such kind of a bot, so in that point of view we can create this Power Virtual Agent. Okay, so we can create this one. So these are basically the concepts of this Power Apps, Power BI, Power Pages, Power Virtual Agents I have given you. But now the main agenda of the training is this Power Automate. So now in this Power Automate, as I said, there are two products. One is the Power Automate Desktop and second is this Power Automate Cloudflow. So what is the difference between them? In which scenario we should use this? So now, first of all, I'm just going to discuss about this Power Automate Desktop. So this is RPA tool and through which you can automate any of the process which is running manually. Running manually means which is performing manually, where the human intervention is going on and it is time taking activity. Okay. So if you want to automate a such kind of a process, for an example, suppose if I have given you a file and in that file there are 1000 entries. Okay. And those 1000 entries you have to fill on the web page. So for example, there are a 12 column and I'm writing it example. There are a data set and in this data set you have 1000 records and 12 columns like customer ID, customer name, customer PAN card number, customer Aadhaar number, customer address, and so on. So now what you have to do is there is a web page on that you have to log in and you have to enter one by one record. It means for the one customer, you have to enter the 12 fields on the web form. Then you click on the submit. Then you go for the second customer, fill all those 12 fields, then click on the submit. Then for the third customer and so on and so forth. So in that case, now you can see this is very time consuming activity. And there are also the chances of the error as well. It might be you can skip any of the field by mistake, or it might be the same customer you have entered again, or the name is overwritten, or the ID is overwritten, or anything can happen, right? So now if this kind of a process, this is a one of the example I have given you. So if I want to automate this kind of a process, because this is very lengthy process, there are a chances of the errors as well, and the completely human intervention is required. Okay, so now if you see, to enter a one record, if it is taking me 1 minute, so now you can see for the thousand it is going to take the thousands of the minute. Okay, this one. So now this is highly time consuming task. So now in this, basically what we are going to do, we are going to automate this process through this Power Automate desktop. Okay, so this is basically the concept. Okay, so now what we have to do is, this process we can automate through this Power Automate desktop. But now, only you should be aware from the two things. What are those two things? If you are going to automate any of the process, then you must be aware from the manual activity, because the part which you are going to automate, you must be aware from the manual activities. Until you will not be aware from the manual activities, you will not be able to automate that process, right? Because in the automation, what you are going to do, all those steps which is running manually as of now, you are going to make those steps into the actions, right? So once that flow will be executed, or your automation will be executed, so it will execute in the same sequence what sequence you have given. Okay, so you must be aware from the manual interventions. That is basically how that process is running manually as of now. And the second thing, you must be aware from the functionality and the actions of this Power Automate desktop. Although I said this is low code and no code technology, obviously, yes, you do not need to write any kind of a programming language into this, but you must be aware from the actions of this Power Automate desktop. Okay. So this is one of the example. So now what kind of a process you can automate from this? So the process which you can automate through this Power Automate desktop, you can automate the window-based application. You can also automate the Java-based application. You can also automate the mainframe application. And you can also automate the browser-based application. So all these applications, because any of the applications will be the part of any of these. In the Windows-based application, and one more I would say, that is the desktop application. Okay, this one. So any of these applications you can automate, because any of the applications will fall under any of these categories only. So you can automate any of these applications. Okay. So all the feature and functionality are given already into this Power Automate desktop. So this Power Automate desktop is going to help you if any of the process you are running manually. Yes, someone has asked the question. Okay, volume is. Can you hear me now? Volume is fine. Okay,
No, it's fine.
okay. So now here, this is basically the concept. So whenever you have to perform, and this Power Automate desktop, this PAD, it is basically the RPA tool. Like in the market, you have also heard about the other RPA tools like the UiPath, Blue Prism. automation anywhere. So all these are basically also the part of the part of this RPA. And this Power Automate desktop is the similar one, which is basically the part of this RPA tool. But now the second one, which is basically this Power Automate Cloud Flow. So what is that? Power Automate Cloud Flow is what? So Power Automate Cloud Flow, it is not going to help you to automate the process. No, it will not help you to automate the process. It will help you to create the flow. It means create the flow which should trigger as per your requirements. Example, if I say, for an example, if any of the SharePoint, for example, you have created a repository and where people are submitting their applications. Okay. So how you will get notify, okay, any new item has been received or any new request has been received. How you will get notified? So in that case, what you can do is you can create a flow. Like for an example, if you have seen when you raise a request for the IT team, for an example, there is a certain problem you are facing in your laptop and they ask you, okay, please raise the request. So what you do, there is a link they provide to you and you submit your request there. There is a MS form. Okay. They ask you, okay, please fill this form and submit your request. You fill that MS form and you hit on the submit button. Once that is submitted, then immediately in your mailbox, you receive one email. Okay, you have submitted this request. So your request has been submitted, and someone from the IT team will reach out to you and it will resolve within the 24 hours as a TAT time. So this kind of a notification you receive, right? So how this notification is getting generated? How you are getting this one? Correct. So what happens actually when you submit any of the MS form, this is the one of the example I'm telling you. So when you submit any of the request through this MS form, so it is going to store somewhere into your database. Example, in your SharePoint. So if you are submitting any of your request into your MS form, so it is going to submit on the SharePoint, and from there it is triggering the email that if any new item is submitting on my SharePoint list, then I will trigger the email. So there is a one flow has been created whenever any new item is added on my SharePoint list, then immediately the email should be triggered to that person from whom we have received the email. Okay. So this kind of a flow, if you just need to create it, so in that case, we can leverage this functionality, which is the Power Automate Cloud Flow. So the flow basically helps you to create whenever you have to perform any of the trigger on the basis of your action. So in my example, which I have given you, so what was the action? The action was when any new item is submitted on the SharePoint. This was the action. And what was the trigger point? To send the email, right? So I told you action was what? To submit any new item on SharePoint. This was the action in this case. And what was the trigger? So trigger was to send the notification email to the sender from whom we have received the email. It needs to send a notification email to the sender, right? So if this kind of a flow you want to create it, so in that case we can leverage the functionality of this Power Automate Cloud Flow. So the difference between the Power Automate Desktop and this Power Automate Cloud Flow is Power Automate Desktop is basically the desktop application which is going to help you to automate the process for any of these applications. But Power Automate Cloud Flow, it will help you to create a such kind of a trigger. Okay. So this is basically the difference between the Power Automate Desktop and Power Automate Cloud Flow. Is this clear, or anyone has any doubt into this?
Can you give some examples of each of the application like Windows-based, Java-based, mainframe?
Okay. So window-based application is what? Like for an example, you want to automate the Excel application. You want to automate the Notepad application like this. So which are basically the window-based automation, window-based application. Java-based application is what? If any of the application has been created in the Java platform. Okay, any application created on Java platform using the Java coding, Java programming. So if you want to automate that kind of a process, you can use this Java-based application. Mainframe application is what? Like example, I can show this to you. For an example, if you have seen the IBM software, let me show you how the mainframe will look like. Mainframe applications. So if I show this to you, if you have seen this kind of application, example, like this, let me increase the size. So if you have seen this kind of a application, so this is basically the mainframe application, which is basically the IBM application. So let it open. So you will see this kind of application. So let it load. Yes, this kind of, see this one. So if this kind of a application, because IBM is using this kind of a application in also in the some of the organization, this kind of a applications are also using. So which are basically the mainframe application. These kind of applications are basically known as a mainframe application. Okay. Then browser-based application is what? Like any of the application where you are using any of the URL which is opening on the browser. So any application which are opening on browser, any of the browser, whether that is a Chrome browser or that is a Mozilla browser or Edge browser or Internet Explorer, any of the browser. So in that case, that is basically known as a browser-based application. The desktop application, if I talk about, so any of the desktop application, first of all, the desktop application will have the extension which is .exe, executable file, right? So if any of the application which is developed into this desktop application, and for this desktop application, internet connectivity will not required first of all. So most of the company also use this desktop application. Once you open that, so automatically it will open into your system. It is not going to open into your browser. It is not the part of your window-based application. This is a desktop application. Okay. So in that case, what will happen? Once you will open this .exe file, your software will get open. Example, your Tally software. Once you install the Tally into your system, you can use the Tally, the online and the offline in both the scenario or not. For the Tally, the internet connectivity is not required, na? Correct? So that kind of a application which contains the .exe file. So that kind of a application, that is executable file. So that kind of a application is basically known as the desktop application. Okay, 1 second, let me show that to you. Let me open that. So I will show this to you so you will understand. 1 second. I have that application. Let me check where is that. 1 second. I will show that to you. I have that application. It's 1. Yes. We copy this. Unsave. 1 second. I'm sharing my screen. See. Exe file. Please do let me know if my screen is visible, please. Can you see my screen now, everyone? So this is one of the exe executable file. If I double click on this, na, see, it is opening that application. So it is opening that. So this is basically the exe file, which is executable file. Okay. To use this one, I do not need any internet connectivity or anything. So see, once I open this, so this kind of a application is opened. See, so this is one of the example where I can just use this one. So this is the develop as per the requirement. I can submit it. I can select any of these like this. Okay. So this is basically the desktop application where I can enter the details, whatever, and I can click on submit and data. This one. So for this one, this is not related to your Windows application. This is not related to your browser-based application. This is completely your desktop application, which is opening into your system, which is opening into your desktop. Right? So this application is basically the desktop application. Is this clear, everyone now? Okay. So this is basically the concept of this Power Automate. Okay. Now, simply if I say what is a RPA, what is a robotic process automation? So if I just talk about this robotic process automation, so basically there are two kind of automations. Okay, what are those two kind of automations? So one is the traditional automation and second is the RPA automation, which is robotic process automation. Okay. So traditional automation is what? Traditional automation is basically that automation for which that highly programming skill sets will be required. Okay. So for this highly programming skills will be required. For an example, suppose if I say I need to automate this process, which process? This example which I have given you. Okay. This example which I have given you, I am taking the same example. And if I say I need to automate this process. So in this case where you have to read the data from the Excel and you have to enter the data into the browser on the web form. So if you are not aware from this Power Automate desktop, so in that case, you have to write the programming, right? If you will ask from any of the person that please automate this process, so that person will use the Selenium automation by using the Java, right? They will identify the elements. They will just go for inspect the elements on the web page, right? To get the right element, and they will write the programming language for this. So if I ask them to automate this process through the traditional automations, it means that person must be aware from the Java automation by using this Selenium. But if I will ask from any of the person for this RP automation, this one, for this RP automation, then for this one, no programming skill sets will required. No programming skills will be required. This one, what person will do? Person will simply use all the required actions of this RPA, which is basically this Power Automate desktop, and it will inspect all the elements in one by one action. You do not need to write a single line of a code. And these automations we are going to see in the upcoming sessions. So we do not need to write a single line of a code. And one more important thing I want to tell you. In the traditional automation, for an example, suppose there is a URL which you have to open into the browser. For example, you are using the Chrome browser, and using the Chrome browser, you have automated this process through this traditional automation. Okay. But now, if your Chrome browser gets updated, then your Selenium driver also you have to update. This is very challengeful situation for the people who automate this process through the traditional automation. For example, if today I automated this process through the by using this Chrome browser, I automated this process and it is running perfectly fine. But tomorrow, because you are not aware from this one when this browser is going to get updated. For example, if after 2 days this browser gets updated at the back end, and when that person will run that flow or will run that automation, so it is not going to it is not going to execute, it is not going to run, because it will throw the error that your browser has updated. So please update the Selenium driver also. So as your browser will get update, immediately you have to update your Selenium driver. Until you will not update the Selenium driver, your automation will not run. So every time this is very challengeful situation, when your browser gets updated, then immediately you have to update your Selenium driver for the same version. But in this RP automation, these kind of a challenges you will not face, because we are not going to automate through this Selenium. We are going to automate this process with the actions over here. So if I automated this process of this by using the Chrome browser today, if my browser gets updated twice in a day and number of times in a day, that doesn't matter to me. My automation is not going to stop. So here we do not have a such kind of a dependency that every time you have to update the browser. So we do not need to do that one. So that's why the people also prefer this RPA, because this is the low code or the no code technology. And this is the one of the example I have given you where we do not have a such kind of a dependency, right? Because for an example, if person X has automated this process with this traditional automation, and tomorrow, for an example, if that person is on the leave and that person is not available, and sudden that challenges occur, that browser has been updated, so you have to update the Selenium browser. So in that case, what will happen if that person is not available? So if in the absence of his or her, if anyone is responsible, then that person has to take this one, right, to resolve this kind of a query. But user is going to face that challenge. Now if someone is not available at that moment, then this task is going to delay. This is impacting your business, this is impacting the BAU of that person, correct? So this is not the good thing. So in that case, if you have automated this process through this RPA, then there is no manual intervention is required. And also for this traditional automation, there should be a person who are going to run this process. Okay, for this traditional automation, there should be a person who is going to run this process. But in this RPA automation, we have the functionality. Which kind of a functionality? That any of the person can run this process, or you can also schedule this process. Okay, so we have the schedule functionality also. And in the real scenario, when we just work for any of the organization, then in the organization, there will be a dedicated machine or dedicated resource for this, where all the bots are going to get scheduled, and automatically it will execute at the scheduled time, and it will give the final output to the user. Okay, so your system or your machine will not get engaged at that moment. Okay, so this kind of a things we can automate through this power automate, and this is basically the difference between the traditional automations and this RPA automations. So in this RPA automation, the robotic process automation, in the robotic process automation, the actions which you are going to use in any of the automations, all those actions combining together are known as a bot. Simple. Okay, so bot is basically not just like a robot. Okay, here I'm not saying the robot, here I'm saying the bot. So bot is basically the where you are going to combine the multiple actions together, right? So all those actions are basically known as a bot. It means that process which you have automated, you can say, okay, I have automated this one, I have developed a bot which is running this flow. Okay, so this is basically the part of this RPA. So it is clear, everyone, these first 3 points. What is robotic process automation? This Power Automate desktop, Power Automate cloud versus Power Automate desktop. It is clear, everyone? Or anyone has any doubt into this? Okay. Now we are just going to see how you have to install this Power Automate desktop. So this is basically the desktop application. So for this, there is a URL. What is a URL? The URL is basically this make.powerautomate.com. This one. So this is basically the URL. So once you will log in into this URL with your credentials, so under that create, once you will just go into this create, then here you will see this option. Which option? You will see this option as a install. This one. So in this install, if you will click on this down arrow, you will see Power Automate for desktop. Okay, so you have to click on this. Once you click on this, as I have clicked, so it will start downloading the one exe file, which is basically the software of this Power Automate. It will open that. Okay, it will download that, and you have to simply open this software, and you have to click on the next, which is basically the normal installation you have to perform it. So first of all, you have to log in into this make.powerautomate.com. Then after, you have to come into this create tab, this one. After that, you have to go into this install. In this drop down, you have to click, and as soon you click on this drop down, you will see the software of Power Automate Desktop, and you have to click on that. So it will start downloading the software, and simply once that is downloaded successfully, that exe file, then you have to click on the next. That's it. Okay. So once you will done with this installation, then your software will get installed successfully into your machine or into your system. And then you can search the Power Automate desktop into your search bar. Like here, if I search Power Automate, so here you will see this one, Power Automate, this one. And once you open this, then it will reflect you like this. So if you see this home page, so you will see this kind of a home page of this Power Automate desktop application. So this is basically also known as a backstage view or the backstage window. So in this home page, what information basically you are getting? It is showing you that what is your name or who has logged in into this application, first of all. And in this backstage view, this is called it as a backstage view or backstage window. So in this, basically, you are going to get the information that where you can get the flavor of this Power Automate. So to start the journey of the Power Automate, they have created the some tool for you. It means if you just want to understand, okay, how this Power Automate actually works, what we can do with the Power Automate. So that some kind of automations and some kind of a tour videos, basically they have just created this one for you. So here you can see it says a get started tour. So which is basically if you want to understand, okay, what we can perform with this Power Automate desktop, what are the things we can leverage with this one, right? So all the things basically they have just created on this page. And apart from this one, if you want to build your own flow, the new flow, you can create it from here. If you want to start from the scratch, you can create the new flow from here. Or you can also create the new flow from here itself. Okay, if you want to create from the scratch. But apart from this, if I scroll it down, then you will see they have also given you the some kind of examples. Sorry, some kind of examples. For an example, if you want to automate the Excel automation, so you can see related to the Excel automations, they have given you this section. And for this Excel automation, they have given you the 5 examples, 5 different examples. How you can store the data into the Excel, how you can manipulate the data, how you can read the data from the one Excel to the another Excel like this. So the 5 examples they have created for you. Same for the web automation related, they have given you this kind of a functionality where you can check it that what kind of a web automations we can perform it, how to handle the web applications, how we can enter the data into the web applications, and so on. Apart from this, similarly, they have created this desktop application, desktop automations also. So these like the applications which I have shown you for the exe file. So that exe file kind of automations, which is basically the desktop automations. If you want to see the, to get the flavor, you can see the desktop automations. We have many more. If you see this button forward and backward, then you can see that date time handling related. If you have the data where you just want to perform the date and time related, so in that case, you can see this example, the date time related. For example, if you have the data where you are getting the data and there is a one column which is related to the date time. So if you want to calculate the difference between two dates, if you want to convert that column into your required date time format, so which action you have to use or how we can convert that date time into that required values. So for that, related to that, they have created some examples for you. Then the same, if you want to automate the PDF automations, for example, if you have a PDF and the PDF automations where you have to read the PDF or you have to merge the PDF or you have to split the PDF or any kind of a PDF automations if you want to go with, then you can see this PDF automations examples. Here you can see in your automations, if you want to perform any kind of a manipulations into your text, then you can see some of the examples also has been given it over here. So in this page, you will see the some examples to get the flavor of this Power Automate journey. If I scroll it down, then here some links are given which are related to your tutorials. That if you want to build your first flow, so here you can see it has created some small tutorials for you. So where you can see, if I open any of these to show you that how it will look like. If I simply go with this one, I can open any of this. I have clicked on this. So here you can see, if you click on this see all also, na, then you will see it will open in the browser. Okay. So now you can see, as I have just clicked, see, build your first Power Automate flow. So now you can see they are just going to guide you. Okay. If you see introduction, how to set up the environment, export the Power Automate for the desktop, create your first Power Automate flow, and so on. So if example, if I just click on this introduction, so you can see in the introduction, it has given you the some kind of a introduction how this Power Automate flow, sorry, Power Automate desktop is going to perform this one, this RPA tool, this one. So you can see flow, right? If you click on this next button, how to set up this. So now you can see in the setup, they have given you this one that how you can set up this. So although for this one, I have just told you that how you can install this software. So see in the My Flows, the same. Can you see this screenshot? If I just zoom it, I have clicked on this. Let it zoom. So the same thing I have told you. If you remember, under this My Flows, I told you under this My Flows. Yeah. So under this My Flows, if you see, I have told you once you click on My Flows, then here you will see in My Flows also or in Create also. Yeah. Am I audible, everyone? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay. So now here the same thing I told you that either you can just go into this create and you will see this install. Under that you can see this Power Automate desktop. From here also you can go it, or if you just go into this My Flows, under that My Flows you will also see this install the same thing, and you can click on this Power Automate for desktop and it will download that software and you can install that one. So the same thing has been guided you over here. Now same, if I just go into this, so now this is basically the cloud-based application. Okay, this one, the Power Automate flow I told you na. So this is basically the cloud. From this one only you can download this software. If I go into this My Flows also, I clicked on this My Flows. So in My Flows also you can see the same thing, install and Power Automate desktop. Either you can go it from here also, or you can go into this create and from here also you can install it. There are both the ways. There is no difference at all. Okay. In My Flow section, you will be able to see the three things into the categorization. If you see, one is the cloud flow section, second is the desktop flow section, and third is the shared with me section. This one. So there are basically the three sections over here: cloud flows, desktop flows, and shared with me. In this cloud flows section, you will be able to see all those flows which you have created by using the help of the Power Automate Cloud, not the desktop. Power Automate Cloud. Okay, so all the cloud flows you will be able to see it over here. And now if you go into this desktop flows, so in the desktop flows you will be able to see all the flows which you have created to the desktop, Power Automate desktop. It means into this desktop flows you will be able to see all your RPA bot. Okay, all your RPA bot. So whatever the bot you have developed or whatever the process you have automated, that bot you will be able to see into that environment under this desktop flows. Okay, and if you will come into this desktop flows, na, then you can also the download application from here also. Okay, so there are multiple ways to download this application. In the shared with me, under this, in the shared with me, you will be able to see the flows where that is a cloud flow or that is a desktop flow. You will be able to see all the flows which is shared with you. If for an example, if I am the developer, for an example, if I say I just want to share one bot which I have developed, I want to share with all of you. So once I will share with this one, and once you will open this make.powerautomate.com, then under this shared with me, you will be able to see the bot which I have shared with you, and you can utilize that. So if someone has shared with you, then only under this in this shared with me section, you will be able to see that kind of a bot. Okay. So this is the basic concept of this flow. Okay. Power Automate. Now into this Power Automate, if you see, this is the home page. This is the first home page, right? Second, you can see the flows. So before I go into the flow, if you want to create any of the process automation, if you want to automate any of the process from the scratch, then I told you either you can click on this new flow. From here you can click on this, or you can click on this new and you can click on the flow. As soon you click on the flow, it will ask you, please tell me what name you want to keep for your flow. Okay, and the name which you want to give for your flow, you can give any of the name into this, and you can click on this create. Here I always suggest, please give a meaningful name, because once you share this bot with any of the XYZ person, then with the same name, that person will receive the bot. So always give a very meaningful name to this flow. So when this person will receive, or whenever you will see this into your future, so through the name you can recall it very easily. Okay, this is related to this activity. Okay, so always try to give a very meaningful name to your bot. And once you will just click on this create, once you will click on this create, then your bot will create. It will open the window which I will show that to you as well. And that bot which you have created, all those bots will be reflected into these flows. Like example, in my screen as of now, I have updated this. So you can see I have a three bot. One is this bot, second is this bot, and the third is this bot. The three bots I have developed. Okay. So all the bots which you have developed, those bots will be reflected under this. Okay. And also, as of now, here you can see, I am able to see only this my flows, right? And if any of the XYZ person has shared the bot with me, na, which is basically the Power Automate desktop, then here I will also be able to see a section which is basically known as the shared with me. Shared with me. Okay, this one. So under this shared with me, those Power Automate bot will reflect which someone has shared with you. Okay, so I can utilize that shared bot also. For example, you are a developer. Okay, you are a Power Automate developer. You automated one process, and now that flow or that process which you have automated, you want to deliver that bot to that respective person from whom or for whom you have developed this bot. So, for example, there is a person X who has given you the requirement to automate the process. You automated process into your system, and now that bot I want to share with this person X. So when I will share the bot with this person X, and when person X will open the Power Automate desktop application into his or her system, then here under the flow, under the shared with me, that shared flow will reflect. And this X person can run the flow from there. Okay, that X person can run the flow from there. So it will execute the same as per the given requirement. Okay, if for example, if any of the flow which is shared immediately, but it is not reflecting, for example, I have kept my application open, and now if someone has shared the bot with me, so if in under this shared with me, if that bot is not reflecting na, so you can refresh this application, this one. Otherwise you can close this application or reopen, or you can simply click on this refresh, so automatically your entire Power Automate desktop application will get refreshed, and the latest changes or any new bot which that person has shared with you, everything will reflect into your Power Automate desktop application. Okay. You can also search the bot over here. For example, if you have a lot of the bots here, for example, there are 100 bots, and you want to search the bot, and you know the name of that bot. So directly there is a search option also. You can type the name of the bot into this search, and automatically that bot will get filtered out from this. So you want to filter the bot, then you can use this search feature or search button over here. Then here, the third one is basically the examples. So examples section is also the same. If you just go into this examples, so the same, which you are able to see in the home page, na? This one, date time handling, this one, Power Automate, scripting related, flow control. Okay, so you can also use this one. So scripting related is what? As I told you, you can write your own script also, because if you remember, I told you which is basically the LCNC, low code and no code. So scripting functionality, basically they have given to you that if you want to run your bot through the some scripting or some kind of a programming language or some kind of a coding language, so in that case you can use this scripting as well. Like for an example, the CMD command or the Python or the VB.NET, right? Any kind of a scripting if you want to run with, so there are scripting feature is also given through which you can automate your process, because it is up to you. That is your approach, because the same process, it might be you have the different approach to automate that process. I can have the different approach to automate that process, right? It might be the same process. If you are automating in the 10 steps, it might be I can reduce the steps. It might be I can automate that into the 9 steps, or I can automate into the say 8 steps, right? It might be, the chances might be, or it might be, for example, in instead of 10 you are using the 10, it might be when I started automating, automated this process, it can go into the 11 steps, because everybody has the different approach to automate the process. But the ultimate goal is what? Our process must be run smoothly. The bot which you have created must be executed very smoothly as per the requirement. So it might be the automation which somebody is running, they have executed the script, right? The VB.NET or the Python programming, or it might be when there is a no code programmer. If you are not aware from the Python and VB.NET, it might be you are using these actions. So your actions are also giving me the same output, and scripting is also giving me the same output. But both the developers has a different approach. Okay. So that's what I told you. You must be aware from the actions. What action you want to use. Power Automate has given you everything. But now it is up to you as per your process, which functionality you want to leverage it. Okay. So whatever you are able to see on this home page, na, so that is basically you will be able to see under the examples. So if I just go into these examples over here, so see, Excel automations, web automations, desktop, PDF, text manipulations, scripting, and flow control. Right? If I just go into any of these, for example, I'm just clicking on this Excel automations. I clicked on this. So see, in this Excel automations, they have shown you, or they have created, or they have created the flow to give you the claims for these 5 things. How to launch the Excel, how to launch the Excel and extract the table, how to use the search and replace into the Excel values, how we can consolidate the Excel reports and manipulate the data using the SQL. So for example, if you want to read the data from the any of the table, so now they have given you the some kind of a way. Okay, they have created something for you. So here you can see also they have given you description. Like for this first one, if you see, Excel spreadsheet are used to store and analyze large amount of structural data. Power Automate offers a dedicated group of actions to automate basic tasks in the Excel spreadsheet, such as launching them. Okay, so we will see when we have to use this launch, why to use the launch, what are the parameters we have to pass in the launch, all the things we are going to see. But here you can see they have created a this kind of a flow for you where you can get the flavor of this. Okay, if I open any of these, for example, if I open this, I'm clicking on this pencil icon, which is edit icon. I clicked on that. So now it will open this Power Automate desktop application, where I will be able to see all those actions which are used to create this launch Excel bot. Okay, so you will be able to see that. So let it open, then I will show this to you. So now it is loading. So in the left hand side, na, you will be able to see all the actions. What are the actions we have, which actions we can use. Okay, so those actions we will see, and in the mid section you will be able to see the actions which you have tracked or which you have used to create your bot or to develop your bot. Okay, so let it open, I will show this to you. So meanwhile it is opening, anyone has any doubt or any query till here? No one? Okay. So now here you can see, okay, don't worry about what is written over here or what is dragged over here. Don't worry about it. We will see everything from the scratch. Okay. So only you have to understand how flow will look like. Okay. So here in the left hand side, whatever the things you are able to see, all the things are basically known as what? Actions. Okay. So if you want to perform any Excel related automation, so you can see the Excel automations, Excel actions. If you want to perform any browser automation, you can see all the browser automation related actions, you will get it over here. If you want to perform any database related like the SQL and all, you will see the separate action. If you want to perform any if related condition or logical related conditions, all the things you will be able to see into this flow control here, right? So all the things which are into the left hand side, so all the things are basically known as a actions. This mid section, this one, this mid section is basically known as a flow window or the workflow window. Workflow window. This mid section is basically known as a workflow window, or some people also call it as a canvas. So if somebody call it as a canvas window or the workflow window, to you both are the same thing, canvas or the workflow. So in this workflow, you will be able to see all the actions which are basically used over here, which you have used to create your workflow. Okay, so like you can see, display the select file. This is one of the actions over here. Here you can see the if conditions, right? You can see the launch Excel. So why we have used it, in which steps we will create this one. So all the things we are going to see one by one. We will see that. Do not worry about this. Only you have to understand as of now how your flow will look like, what you will get into your flow window. That's it. Okay. Everything we will start from the scratch. Then in the right hand side, you will see the some flow variables, the variables which are created into your flow. We will discuss about this. What are the variables, how to create the variables, how the default variables will get created. Everything we are going to see this one. Okay. So into this, in the left hand side, you will be able to see the sections, and which is basically the very important, or this is the most important, because you must be aware from this. Because until you will not be aware from this, you will not be able to automate your process. Okay. So you should be aware from this that which action you have to use into which kind of a scenario. And here you can see that is scripting which I was discussing, this one, right? So we will see the actions over here to automate our process. Okay. So in the left hand side, you will see this action window. This mid section is basically known as a workflow window or the canvas window. And in the right hand side, you will see the variables window. This one. So there are basically the three kind of a window which is available into this flow. Okay. Yeah. Any doubt, anyone till here? As we have seen this one. Let me erase this. Yeah. So we have seen this one, how to install this one and so on. Okay. How to create your first flow. How to create your first flow. So if you want to create your first flow, then for this one, what you have to do, simply go into this flow section or into home section, and you can click on this new and click on the flow. Then whatever the name you want to give, you can give it. For example, I am giving the name as a day 1 underscore 12th June 25, and simply click on create. Once I clicked on create, so now it created and it will open this flow where I will be able to see the same thing. What same thing? The actions in the left hand side, the mid section, which is the workflow window or the canvas window, and in the right hand side we will be able to see the variables window. See, you will be able to see this one. So as of now, we have not created any kind of a thing over here. So you can see it is telling you you do not have any actions here yet. Okay, so we can drag any of the actions, whatever is required to us, we can create it over here. Okay, and here if you want to run this flow, then here you will be able to see this play button is basically to run the flow. Okay, this is basically to stop the flow. This is basically to save the flow. This one, and this is when this button, the last button, this button is basically when we will just go into the debug. So this is basically for the next run. And this is basically the recorder. If you want to record any of the activity which is static, if you want to record that kind of activity, then you can just perform the recorder as well. Okay. And one more important thing which we will see into the upcoming sessions. Now you can see if you click on this subflow, you can see the new subflow. So now they have given this subflow options. Through the subflow, we can create the multiple pages over here. But always remember, when you run the flow, so it will run all those steps only which are under your main tab. This one, remember. For example, you are working and you are automating a process which is the excellent web automation. Okay, you created one separate page which is Excel. All the Excel related part you done into this. Second, you created one new page which is subflow web related. Under that, you created the web related all the things. And once you will run this, it will not go into in this Excel. It will not go into this web. It will look what actions you have created under this main page only. So once you execute all the things which you have used into this main web page, only those are going to get executed. So it means this Excel related work, this web related what we have done, these two things I need to call it under this main web page. So as of now, just understand this only. Whatever the actions you have created under this main page, all those actions are going to execute. Simple. Okay. All those actions are going to execute. Now here you can also search the action over here, because sometimes it happens that, for example, if you forget, okay, I just want to go for the launch application, launch Excel. So I know under this Excel I will just get it. But here if I will type launch Excel, so immediately the action will come in front to me. For an example, if I just type launch, so here you can see related to the launch, I am able to see all the actions over here. Look, this one. Related to the browser, you can see the launch. Related to the application, Excel application, launch. Related to the Word, related to the Access, related to the Outlook, related to the SAP. See where the launch is coming. I will be able to see this one. So here into this action search bar, I can search any of the actions which I want to use into my flow. This one. So this is basically the concept that how we can search any of the actions into this. Okay. So this is basically the concept. So we will see this, how to create the flow, how we can track the actions over here, how to save the flow, how to run the flow from here, how to run the flow from outside. Everything we are going to see this.
Sir, your voice is again very low. Actually, we
Okay.
not able to hear you.
It's better now.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So here I said what we have to do is, here we can search any of the action over here, right? this launch I have written like this. So I will be able to see all those actions which contains this launch keyword, right? Launching the Chrome, launching any of the browser or any of the applications like Excel, Word, Access, Outlook, or the SAP, right? So any of the actions we can search it and directly we can drag it over here. And in the drag, once you drag it now, for an example, if I drag this launch Excel, so once I drag it over here, so immediately it will open the pop-up where it will ask you for the required input parameters. So you must be aware from these actions. As I have already said, you must be aware from the actions that because every action has the different kind of a input parameters. If you will not pass the correct input parameter, your flow will not execute correct. Okay. What is this Excel instance? This is a very important question. Okay. I will tell you the on this. We will discuss when we will just go for the Excel automations. We will discuss about this. This Excel instance is what? Make instance visual is what? In the launch Excel, what are the things? Which thing we have to select at what time? In the advanced, if you see, there are the new things, right? So all the things. It means every action has a different kind of a input parameter. If I drag this launch new Chrome, you will see it will ask a different thing. See, right? So every action has the different parameters, different input parameters. Okay, so we will discuss this into the upcoming sessions that how to automate the process, and from the scratch level we are going to see that one, how to create the flow, the basic flow, how we create it, if we have to give the messages and all. So everything, if we have to take the input from the user, how you will give the dialog box to the user. So all these things basically we are going to see into the next session. So for today, we have covered all these things which is related to our day one agenda. So if anyone has any kind of a questions into this, then please do let me know.
How many days the class will be?
Okay. So the class duration is the 1.5 hours and which is basically for the 18-hour sessions round.
Okay, I mean, so these sessions are just basic one, or it's like, I mean, we can buy these sessions. I mean, we can automate most of the Excel task without.
Yes, we will automate. So today, as today we have the first session, so which
Mhm.
is basically the introduction of this Power Automate, how we install it and how actually it works. But
Mm.
if you see into this, we are just going to see all these actions, how to launch the browser automations, the Excel automations, the message box related, the looping concepts, the web and desktop automations you can see, the data manipulations, reading the data, if conditions, exception handling, all the things. And everything will be on the basis of the real scenario. And also you will get the project. I will also give you the project because until I will not give you the project, you will not be able to make your hands dirty into this Power Automate, right? So the database, the if we are going to automate any of the browser, the URL, everything I'm just gonna share with you guys. You will get it. So I will give you the lot of the assignments, the complex assignments, but to reach out to the complex assignments, your fundamentals must be clear first of all. Na? So we will see that the fundamentals and we will slowly and gradually move to the advanced level.
Okay, and one more last doubt. Like, is there any
Uh-huh.
specific Excel version do we need to have, or we can run on any Excel?
No, 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 no. Any of the Excel version, which is basically the MS Office. Na? If you that is installed, then that is fine. There is no separate or any specific version of the Excel is required. No, not at all. Any other doubt, anyone? No? Okay. So for today, I'm just keeping the session till here. And tomorrow we will connect at the same time and we will start the practical sessions from tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.